Hello, folks. Let me see if I can make it work with big camera. Big camera is showing like a corner of my chair. It's super weird. Hey, everybody. So later today, we're going to be having a pretty cool raid train and stuff. But for right now, we're going to be doing some pretty regular nifty arts and crafts. And then at 9:30, we're going to be part of a raid train that's going to be happening. And then we'll do like a little bit of a review of what we do here on this channel. But in the meanwhile, we're going to get stuff done. You know, I don't like big screen. Big screen is never my fan. I like being in a tiny little circle in the corner. But hopefully my sound is okay, and hopefully my music is audible. I think. There it is. I was like, did the music go away? But I did put in a little window down. Yes, down. It's just kind of flipping through some of my projects, but we will spin, and I think we're going to do some blending on the blending board a little bit later. And this is, by the way, the spinning that I did yesterday. I finished applying it. I don't know what the heck is going on with getting stuff on this bobbin. It's a weird trapezoidal cone shape, but it is done, and it's kind of chilling out before I wind it onto the nitty naughty and stuff. Yes, please do impending test. I want to see if my like raid announcement happens, and if it doesn't, I'm gonna need to fix it. Yes, it did happen. It's just not on top of everything. I wonder why. Okay, I'm gonna move it up so it's... Nope, do not be in the... That is not what I want. I think that's what I want. Yes. So I think it worked in that I think I got an announcement. However, it was not at all loud, and I don't know why. Yeah, Twitch keeps doing that. I know that like I'm live, so I should in fact probably not be like changing things, but um I I don't know why the sound was weird. So we're just gonna we're just gonna I like it as a concept. I'm not sure I like it quite as often as Twitch thinks I ought to be doing it, if that makes sense. Okay. I think I fixed whatever the problem was. I think. Yes. We absolutely need to do it. Today is not that day, but we absolutely need to do it. Um my thought for today is like, so I've got time, so I want to get some stuff done. But this is, by the way, the thing I was doing yesterday. Finished applying it. Again, I don't know why it became a cone on this thing. Because, yeah, I miss group nonsense too. I just never have, like, Friday things. Yeah, no, absolutely. Go do stuff. At 9:30, we're getting rated in. So far, the train has been, like, 100+ people. So, come use your sword, be a mod. Plus it's, it's a fun train. But I'm gonna be doing some cross stitch, and I'm gonna do some spinning, and then I'm gonna be doing some blending board, and then that last raid half hour, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about all the various things that I've kind of done, and like look at the pictures that are cycling and all that stuff. But yeah. Please, before you leave, let me know how my sound is versus my music. Just in terms of, like, how that's happening. Alright. Let's just do this from the top. Yes, please check on the phone. Music is nearly inaudible. Okay. That's good to know. It is theoretically getting picked up, but while we're at it, I should also check it on my phone. While we're at it, I should also check it on my phone. While we're at it, I should. Okay. I did turn it up like a tiny little bit, but also I've like super rearranged everything. So you know how I was testing everything yesterday to make sure like my microphone was all set up and working? Yeah, the entire stream yesterday was using the microphone from the overhead camera, because of course it was. But such is life. Alright, we're gonna start this also on the bottom like the previous color, and come on, you gotta catch the tail in the underneath the thread. DMC, why are you being a terrible, terrible thing? Why are you being a terrible thing, DMC Floss? Like, this should not be this hard, you're just thread. But now, it is being a terrible thread. With, like, nonsense. What is even happening back here? Oh my god. There we go. How did we manage to actually go through the thread in one stitch? One stitch is all it took, and that's when it decided it was gonna, I don't know, go freelance, whatever it is that it's doing. Go hang out on its own in the wide world. Okay, thread anchored. This is why the backs of my cross stitch look like butts. Because the front looks fine and the back is like, we're doing whatever we want. You are not our real dad. And here we are. I am not your real dad, thread. You don't have to do what I tell you, but I would really appreciate it if you did. Like, all life would be better if craft products did what I told them to, but they never do. They never do. But that's okay. Uh-oh. The volume is just very uneven. Sometimes hear it. Noises are more often being cut. So, I don't know what's doing that because it's playing off of my YouTube at a pretty constant, at a pretty constant volume. You showed me it in progress. I'm not sure I ever saw the, oh my god, why did I just undo that? I'm not sure I ever saw the final product. But I definitely saw it in progress. I need to remember to not lean back. Yes. Message me, I look. I don't have a keyboard, but I have a, ooh. So it's got like a felt backing. Nice. It looks real cool. What are you gonna do with it? Is it just like for fun to wear, or is it for a specific cosplay or for a project? Yeah, no, it looks like it looks like that's what's needed to hold the pin back in place. Ah, okay. So it's like a gifty. Very nice. Very nice. How long did it take you to make it? Also, I caught like a little tiny bit of your stream, and I saw your candy corn tipuses. Candy corn Cthulhu's? Yes, you should write it down so that you can have like a pattern and stuff. And you should time yourself, because if you ever like, first of all, so that you can tell people how long it took, but also like if you ever make them for sale, you want to know how much time it took so that you can use that to calculate cost. Not that I'm like suggesting you have to sell them or anything, but just like in general. Squiddy corn. It just looked really cool and had tentacles, which is really like what makes it cool. this is like a shadow of the bookshelf that I'm working on. But I figured I wanted to do like a little bit of cross stitch today, mostly because I worked on this on the plane home from Seattle on Monday, and then like did not, yes, go Wrangle, and then did not like get a chance to work on it at all yesterday, so it was a thing to work on today, because like stream is time to be chill and get some handcrafts done that I don't necessarily always manage to get done otherwise. But yeah. I wonder if that image gallery is just like going too quickly. Wonder if I can adjust that. Oh, I can. Time between slides is 2,000 milliseconds, but we can make it 2,500 milliseconds, which in theory should be slower. Because like some of the things have writing, and it'd be good if people had a chance to okay, there we go. Just be able to read the thing, so some people might not be super speedy readers, so therefore we do not want to penalize that. Alright, so before we head back across, we should do the, wait, are we just filling in the whole thing? We are. Yeah, so this bookmark is, the pattern is free, available on the website for the Seattle Worldcon, which is in August of 2025. So that's why the pattern says Worldcon, Seattle Worldcon 2025. Read the Hugos, because the Hugos are awarded at the Worldcons. So people nominate, and then things that are most nominated get on the slate ballot. And then everybody who has an attending membership to Worldcon votes, and the Hugos get awarded in a really cool, fancy ceremony. So it's like a big deal. Not quite as big a deal as the Nebulas, because Nebulas are awarded by SIFWA, so it's Science Fiction Writers Association, and so it's writers and editors who are doing the awarding of the Nebulas. It's like, it's not that it's more prestigious, but it's like more quality based, and the Hugos, the readers award it. So it's like also important and also valid, but kind of like a very different audience for the awards, if that makes sense. I know that when I look for books, I look for both for Nebula winners and Hugo winners. So and if anybody's ever interested in going to Worldcon and kind of like looks at the price and planches. Every Worldcon that I've certainly been to has had a discounted price for first, like people for whom it's their first Worldcon, people who are students, people who are under 30. There's usually a discount for like folks who are local, so in Seattle, Worldcon is going to be for folks who are in Seattle, but also for folks who are from LGBTQIA plus and other non-typically represented communities, just because they want to make it a little bit easier for folks to be able to come to Worldcon. I don't know what that was. Why did that just like snag? Also, my needle is curved. I'm not sure why this needle is curved, but it totally is. But it came in the kit. So this was a kit. All the thread you need, the pattern, the Aida cloth and a needle, and no scissors, which made sense. But then I had to take a bunch of threads out on the airplane and with no scissors, so that was fun. Good thing DMC thread is eminently biteable, because that is what I did. I bit it. So, but I was able to take it out. I made a mistake, like somewhere down here. So I was going like this way, this way, this way. Made a calculation error, like literally at the very beginning. And, then continued going and got to the top and realized I was off by one. And so I had to take out basically this whole orange line and this inner orange line and put them back. So that was fun on a flight. Okay, so we are slowly getting there. So that bottom line is filled in. And then I think we're gonna do one, and then this line, and fill in the bottom there. So 1 and 2. So that's gonna be one singleton over here. And then and then another one right above it. And then we're gonna go all the way across, I think. Yep, all the way across. So I've been reading these books, these Kelly Flynn novels. They're like mysteries with a knitting theme. And they started out, there's 16 of them. They started out like really cute. It's not exactly great writing or anything, but it's, it's cute. And by the last few, I don't know, like, I was no longer kind of cool with them. Like, they were always clearly written by boomer heteronormative nonsense, but towards the end, like, our main hero, in addition to solving mysteries, gets pregnant with her boyfriend's baby, and like her friends, who, especially the ones who've been like, we're never getting married, like, you go big city accountant Kelly, were like having sit-down talks with her about how she really can't not be married when that baby's born. And it was just like really, really annoying. Also, like, she solves these mysteries. She's obviously not the professional detective or anything. She's an accountant. And her friends call it Kelly sleuthing, and they like give her so much hard time for it. Like, she's, but like book 15, she solved 14 murders, right? She's about to solve the 15th because it's the 15th book. But her friends are just giving her so much crap for sleuthing. There you go, sleuthing again, ha ha ha. Well, you know what? The police were gonna arrest the wrong person. So, and she basically figures it out and gets the murderers to confess. So that then they get taken to the police and into police custody. But like, I don't know. It's just it got weirdly preachy and like repetitively quaint or something. So they are called, they're the Kelly Flynn is the main character, and they're the Kelly Flynn Mysteries. But let me like grab one so I can give you the actual author's name. I've been getting them out of the library because I refuse to pay money for these. So Maggie Sefton is the author. Here. This is, I think this is book like either 14 or 15. I think this is 14. Yeah. Like they're little cute little paperbacks. But like just a little too something. But like in the beginning, like, you know, I am about to start the 16th one. I am going to finish them. And they're not like in a sequence or anything, but they do a little bit reference each other. And, you know, like in the first one, Kelly met this dude, and in the second one, she was like still going like, oh, I will never date him. And by the third one, she was dating him because that was going to be obvious, obviously. And like by the fourth one, they had a fight at the end and they were no longer dating. And in the fifth one, they were mad at each other and not speaking the whole book. And in the sixth one, they made up and got back together. And then we had a bunch of books of them just being like happily together. And then, you know, and then suddenly this like pressure from everybody that they must get married. Otherwise, what will like happen to their baby? Okay. They are Maggie Sefton's books. The series is called the Kelly Flynn Mysteries. Also, like, you can ask me in chat later. But, and yeah, they're just all sort of very knitting themed. Cozy mysteries. Never any... Yes, there we go. Kelly Flynn is the name of the protagonist. So, like, that was book 14, and it's Knit to be Tied. You know, they're like that. They're all named with, like, weird knitting puns. Sometimes dyeing puns or, like, spinning puns, but... yeah. I think the first one was called, like, Knit 1, Murder 2. I think. Like I said, they started out cute. And you know, they ended up also cute, just a little heteronormative. As if, you know, somebody in their 60s wrote them, because I think somebody in their 60s wrote them. And they have some really cool descriptions of Colorado. Because the premise of the first one is Kelly's aunt is murdered and she inherits her house and also solves her murder. But like she has to stay in Colorado to deal with the estate. So she works remotely from her Washington, D.C. accounting job. And by like book 2, all of her new friends are trying to convince her to stay in Colorado. And she, I think she ends up convincing her boss to let her work remotely. And then eventually she quits her corporate accounting job and starts doing like consultant accountant job in well, thank you for announcing my raid train spot, Raid Pal. Yeah, and so she starts doing consultancy in Colorado, having moved there sort of semi permanently. Okay, so I did that. So now I think we just go up, like on both sides of okay. We're just gonna do this with skipping over the yellow and okay. I can put a needle through a hole. I really can, I promise. This bent needle is probably going to drive me crazy, and I might need to replace it. I do have needles. I don't have to use the one that came in this kit, but it came in the kit, damn it. So I have not done a cross stitch in forever, and like, well, that's not true. I've made a cross stitch. It's right there, in fact, on the page, because I designed the pattern for sale, and I'm working on another one, because I really like being able to cross stitch like cool sayings. So the one I'm designing right now, so I'm working on it and kind of like fixing my pattern as I go. I gotta finish it at some point soon. Is one that says, those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. Just because, like, I've always liked that saying. I super don't remember whose quote it is. I think it's usually attributed to Mark Twain, but like everything on the planet is usually attributed to Mark Twain, including lots of things he didn't say. So, yeah. Oh my god, why is my nail like catching the threads? Who knows? But yeah, so I gotta finish that one so that I can take pictures of it and put the pattern up on Etsy. But also, like, I always want to test stitch anything that I design, because that's how I find errors, and I have so far found like a couple of errors where I just sort of like I was off by one, or I, just like did the pomegranate in the wrong place or something like that. So I gotta finish it up. I'm about halfway done with the phrase. Like I have half of it on there. But maybe I'll work on that tomorrow when I'm watching the train, because I'm watching the train after my slot tonight, starting at 10 until about 2 in the morning. Then I'm gonna go to sleep, I hope. And then I'm watching the train like all day tomorrow, basically. And a chunk of Saturday, but not quite all of Saturday, because I have theater tickets for the evening. I'm gonna go see Six again. I saw it the first time it toured in Boston. Not like when it was just starting out, because like they started it out in, I wanna say, at the ART, and then took it to Broadway. I think it came from the West End. And so they took it on Broadway, and then but then they had it tour into Boston before, like again, and now it's part of the Broadway in America tour. So it's Broadway in Boston is doing a show of it, and I really enjoy that. I really enjoy Six, so it should be fairly cool to go see it again. And then I think the next Broadway in Boston show that I'm seeing is in January at some point. I probably should look up when. I know that the only one I know when it is The Wiz, and that's only because our tickets were for when I will be in Seattle at this aforementioned Worldcon, and so I had to move my ticket out like a week and a half, so. But yeah. So the one thing with this setup is that the camera is much higher, which is great because more of my desktop is visible, and the camera is much better because like it can focus on things I stick in front of it, but it can't zoom in. Like I can't zoom in on stuff that's on my desk, which is probably fine. Someday I will want like a real fancy camera with a remote control and ability to zoom in, but that time is not now. This camera is a step up from the previous one. I am going to take the previous one and see if I can attach it like on a fancy attachment arm to the couch that's next to my loom downstairs, and get a recording of the loom going. I think that's something that I try to do on Sunday after all the raid train stuff is done. Not that like I have to be doing the raid train stuff, but I did sign up to help lead and help out and stuff, so also I don't know if that YouTube link that's Stream Elements is telling about is actually correct, because I went and like updated my my link tree, but I don't know if I actually updated like actual Stream Elements, and I think I probably ought to. And I have disabled automatic ads, which means that I have to remember to do them manually. Because if I don't remember to do them manually, I will never like get up out of my chair. And I think that 3 minutes every hour is like an appropriate amount of time to be getting up. So. Okay. But I'm sort of timing in it such that like so we don't have pre-rolls too, because I don't want pre-rolls, even though people claim that when you raid into somebody you can never have pre-rolls. I have gotten pre-rolls raiding into people, so therefore It's just better safe than sorry. Also, oh no. No, YouTube, chill hops, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Oh, this is chill hops. This is chill hop essentials spring. Okay. Spring it is. We can do with spring. As long as it doesn't start talking, which was the problem yesterday. I've been enjoying their winter mix a lot because their winter mix does not have as much like random talking songs. And there's not supposed to have any, but they sometimes still do. But in about 15 minutes we're gonna do an ad and switch what crafts we're doing, I think. Need new thing. Thread, that's the thing. That's the new thing that I need, a thread. Whoever cut this DMC floss did it just right. Like, my full arm span is basically exactly one string, which I think means it's about a yard, maybe? 2? I don't know. I don't actually know. Old people eyeballs device. Not an eyeball device, a device for old people eyeballs. That came out weird. It is a needle threader. Nobody say I'm totally weird. Well, I am, but not because of that. In that I am weird, but I'm not that weird. Oop, long string. There we go. Okie dokie. Let's see if we can anchor this thread appropriately. Oh, good enough. Don't like having knots on the back, so that's really sort of the important part. No knots. Gets us to here, so now we've got one. Oh my god, come on, there we go. Question is, when we get across over here, do we go down? I think we do. I think that's just how we're gonna do it, because otherwise we're gonna have to do all of that the end, and I don't like that idea. So I did try to organize that the deck of images, the slideshow, to kind of show off some of the more recent things I've knit or crocheted or wove, yeah. But yeah, that is like some sort of vaguely organized way, and I have some resin dice there as well. Don't have any of the Moomin House stuff, but I don't have any pictures of it. I haven't, like, it's not, hasn't been in a done enough state to really have pictures taken, so I do have to work more on it. Maybe that can be next week's focus, is to work on the Moomin things. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to actually use this as a real bookmark because it's a little too wide from how I like my bookmarks, but as like a quick little cross stitch, it's really cute. And I do appreciate what they're doing with making kits out of this, because it means that anytime you're working on it and somebody asks, oh, what are you working on? You end up talking about the Seattle Worldcon, because that is what you are working on. Okay. So now, yeah, let's just go down the thing, then back up, and we can. Oh hey, I like the leaves. How's bedtime routine going? It is. It's just a little bit wide. Like not that it's going to be, you know, wider than the book or anything, but it's just a little wide. And because my, you know, back is a mess. Aha, snack before bed. Well, I hope the snack is delicious. Yeah, because the back of this is a mess, I would really need to give it like some sort of backing before I could really use it as a bookmark. Also, I am so bad at using real bookmarks. Like, I put them down somewhere, and then when I need to bookmark something in a book, I just like find a random receipt, a clean tissue, you know, a wrapper from some candy. And I am the sort of heathen that folds a corner too, so. But, you know, like, I used to have lots of like really nice pretty bookmarks, and that just was not a thing. Never used them. They just gathered dust. Because they're never handy. It's like, it's the same as owning grocery bags, right? Like, they're never handy. I never remember to bring them to the grocery store. So I always end up with the disposable ones because they are convenient. And I am a chaser of convenience, so. Also, my computer is going ding, like, constantly. Because I think my housemate is, like, opening and closing his, Steam accounts tab. And it's just like every time it loses focus, I get a little notification that says, you can now play his games. Which, you know, clearly I need 5 million notifications for. Okay, we have forayed down and back up. Now we're gonna do the other direction of crosses for the shelf. Keeping a vague eye on time. About 4-minute advert warning. Which is good because I need to drink beverage and stuff. Yay, popcorn. I keep thinking I should make popcorn because I have like an air popper and everything, and I just never remember to do it until it's like 4 in the morning, and then popping popcorn makes too much noise for 4 in the morning. Okay, well, so we've outlined the bottom shelf. It's not bad. Now we just keep going up. And we're gonna have a book alongside the I'm gonna book alongside the other side, so in this color. So that's gonna be an interesting time of it. There we go. probably should have done the book when I was going along the other side, but oh well. It's totally okay. It's not like we can't go back to it later. Music, where did you go? Okay. All right, let's take that break. I'm gonna put us into Be Right Back and run a 3-minute ad, and then we will be back. We are back. I think I remembered to turn my microphone back on. Go me. We are winning. And we're switching crafts. As you can see, I cleaned up the cross stitch. We're going to do a little bit of spinning. Let me see if I can move it just a tiny bit more into frame. Yay, you can hear me! Thank you for verifying that. The number of times I've totally forgotten to turn the microphone back on. Yeah, so this is the purple that's going with this blue that I have. Like, I have a lot of I'm getting a lot of the blue. I only got the one chunk of purple, but I got more chunks of purple. But purple is going to be the design color on the yoke of this sweater when I, actually make it. But yeah, it's going to be the light blue sweater with the purple. Also, Puchera. Can you hear the spinning wheel? I think I dealt with the gain on the microphone such that you shouldn't hear it too badly. Like, is it just super distracting? Or is it okay? Like, I don't want it to be drowning me out or the music. But also the microphone is literally right here. So it's kind of like almost right above. Okay, that's probably okay. Hey, oh great. That's true. I've always, no, I was going to say I always wanted to do ASMR, but the answer is no. I've never wanted to do ASMR. I don't like listening to it. But I know other people do. Like, I like the noises that are ASMR, right? Like, I like rain and train wheels, and I love the sound of, like, a spinning wheel. What I don't like is when people try to do ASMR, like, on purpose. I don't like it when people try to talk like it's an ASMR stream, and I don't like it when people are like, I'm going to sit here and poke this hairbrush for your ASMR pleasure. And I'm just like, no. Like, I feel like it's sort of unnatural ASMR, you know? Especially the voices, like people voices. No. But I'm thinking that we'll do a little bit of spinning, and then we will do some blending. So I did, this is fun. So I got like a burgundy and a green fiber at the yes, that is exactly what you said. So I got the burgundy and this green fiber at the Fiber Festival, and I got some extra silk to put into it. So it's like polar and yes. Have you done a lot of it? I've done some. I've mostly dyed like yarn as opposed to roving. But I have like a pound of undyed merino, and I should dye it. I have some, oh nice. I have some blue dye from Dharma Trading Co. Ooh, do you know what it is? Like, what fiber do you have? Because, like, yes, well, not a huge long way. So, like, when I picked up more blue, it's to add up to a pound. Long staple merino, this is what this is. I ended up with, I think I'm going to end up with a pound of the blue and about a half of a pound of the purple, and the pound of the blue is going to get me about 1,800 to 2,000 yards. Okay, so if Superwash Merino is itchy, but not Superwash is not, then yeah, you're probably allergic to the chemicals that make it Superwash. Which is just sad. But, like, sad in the, like, you know, Superwash is what I make, like, baby stuff out of, because, babies make mess, and therefore, you know, you want their stuff to be washable, but yeah, so I want to make a sweater out of this stuff, and I want to, which I haven't done yet, I want to try weaving with my handspun. I've not done it yet. I'm kind of terrified because weaving is under a lot of tension. Well, if you put in 2 spaces, your phone will put a period in. But yeah, there's a lot of tension on, like, on the warp. So I'm just worried that my yarn will just, like, come apart. What kind of loom? Rigid heddle or floor loom? Also, if you want any help with it, not that I'm an expert, but I've done a bunch of it, so is it like looks like a picture frame with like nails on the sides, basically? We should. Because that's, if it looks like a picture frame, that sounds like a tapestry loom, where you put, like, your background that's not going to be visible at all, and then you use your weft to do, like, pictures and stuff. And to be fair, I don't know diddly squat about that. I super don't know anything about that. Also, now that you have a sword, you should be able to post a link in the stream without having to post a link where only I can see it in I thought you'd be prepping for your stream and or doing stuff with the train leading. Okay, so I need to see what that is a picture of. Yes, so that is a tapestry loom, like, as opposed to the other kinds of looms. Yeah, okay. I had like a billion tabs open earlier today, so I feel ya. But at least I was not also trying to work. But yeah, so that IKEA loom, so it's a tapestry loom. So you put like some cotton twine or something as its verticals, and then you like you do basically a painting with stuff. But you can use, so for something like that, for your weft, you can use like straight up like, well, I mean, you'd use like a pencil roving, but you can do like straight up roving for that. You don't need to spin it. Because the colors, right, the weft is not under any tension. But if you figure out how to use it, I want to learn, because this is going too fast. I do not know how to do whatchamacallit, tapestry weaving really like at all. I've done tablet weaving, and I've got like some examples of my tablet weaving in my like little picture. There we go, there's the tablet weaving. Yes, go do story time so that, yeah, I know, we had like a learn to do tablet weaving date, but you forgot about it. So we need to actually do it like for realsies, because I can teach tablet weaving in like no time flat and with very, very, very few tools, because you just need like 2 C-clamps, pack of bicycle cards, hole punch. Ah, wasn't actually safe to something. Oh yes, that makes sense. But yeah, like we never rescheduled, and we really super should. But yeah, like you need basically like not actually a credit card, but something like rigid like a credit card. When I learned with like a little small ruler. But yeah, a deck of cards, 2 C-clamps, bunch of like pearl cotton thread, and like a little ruler, and you're good to go, because you don't need any other equipment. And you cut up your bicycle cards and you punch holes in them. And now you have tablets to do your tablet weaving with. So it's pretty awesome. And but yeah, so my thought, just so folks know, because it's 8:10, is that until about 9 we're gonna spin. Then 9 we're gonna do another ad, and then and another like bathroom break, and then we're gonna do some blending on the blending board. So I had started saying that I got this red and burgundy and some silk, and I got green and burgundy, and I blended the green with the green part of the silk, and I spun that up, and that's actually this guy. I don't know how much of it is there, but a lot. And it's Polwarth, yak, and silk with some extra silk. And so I gotta blend the burgundy with its extra silk and make those roll-logs. And once we have those roll-logs, in the next couple of streams we're gonna finish the spinning this, but then we're gonna spin that, and then I gotta actually wind into a skein, like the skein into a center pull ball, and that's also when the length gets measured. So we gotta get that measured. This purple, like, I gotta wait for the rest of it to come in, because I'm not gonna be able to ply it with anything until more purple comes in, and we spin like the other half of this thing. So because I really think I kind of like the, putting 3.5 ounces onto each bobbin and then just plying it onto the bigger jumbo bobbin. And hopefully next time jumbo bobbin is not going to do whatever the heck it did now, where it's like unevenly attached. But trying to make this like reasonably evenly thin, because I want the end result to be like DK or sport weight, not like worsted weight. But I figure this way everybody can see me spin the fiber on stream, and then everybody can watch me knit the sweater on stream, and it will be like a stream type sweater. not a stream sweater like how Hedgie Cleric had the stream sweater where people in the audience decided what colors she was gonna do next, so it ended up being a very chaotic crazy pants striped thing. But so I'm not gonna do that. But a stream sweater in terms of like made on stream basically. I don't think I could do the thing that she did because I want to make things that I want to wear, and I don't think I want to wear something that is quite that chaotic in terms of like what the next color is gonna be. I'm a little too particular, let's say. That's the polite way of saying what I mean. But yeah. Some would say a little controlling. But yeah, so I like to do things like pick my own color patterns and stripes and things and whatever. Rather than let chance or the general audience decide, why is there like a bit of weird fluff in some other color attached to my fiber? Who knows? I certainly don't know. But like progress. Definitely progress. There we go. I also was watching the Crafty Cub, I think is the Crafting Cub maybe, stream yesterday, and he was making a cowl, and it was like a crocheted Mobius strip cowl. Not to be confused with some of the cowls I've been knitting. So I want to try to make that and expand my quantity of crocheted projects, because now I'm at three amigurumi and one sweater. That's all I've crocheted ever, basically. Not counting like turning all of my grandma's yarn into chain one afternoon. And then rolling out the balls of chain. That was exciting. I think Grandma was very sad that she taught me how to do a chain. But yeah, so that's 4 projects total, I think. So I want to do this cowl just because, like, being able to crochet something cool is, like, it's useful. It's not my thing. It's never going to be my thing. I'm always going to be a knitter first, but being, like, competent at it is a good idea, I think. You know? I don't know, I got tired of just telling people that I just cannot crochet. And they would tell me, like, well, if you can knit, you can crochet. I'm like, no, completely different skill set. Like, it really is. They have a lot in common. You still need to be able to, like, sit still and concentrate, follow instructions and a like chart and stuff like that. But once you get down to the actual, like, mechanics of the thing, it's very different. And you know, a lot of times when people say, oh, I can crochet, but I just can't learn to knit, or I can knit, but I just can't learn to crochet. What they're really saying is, I learned one of these things, and therefore I feel like I should be good at the other one. I try it, but it's hard. And so I find it hard. Well, like, you found the other one hard too when you were starting. Like, nobody picks up crochet hook or knitting needles and just, you know, has a beautiful lace shawl fall out of them instantly, right? But, like, we learned when we were smaller, or we learned a while ago, or whatever, and it's effort. It becomes effortless. It can become effortless. Both of them can become effortless, no matter who you are, right? Like, if you can learn one, you can learn the other. But it is learning. Right. And that's fine, and you can learn them at the same time, but, like, just because you know one does not mean it's no effort for you to know the other. It's a different craft. You have to learn it, and you're probably going to kind of suck when you just start. And then you get better, right, with practice, because that's what crafting is. But I feel like a lot of people sort of expect to instantly and immediately be good at one because they can do the other. That is true. But I find it actually very hard to protect that loop, while as my knitting, I just put some ends on my needles and then my loops are not going anywhere. But I can't quite do that with, like, that one loop to protect. But, like, either way, they're fairly portable. You know, there are some crafts that crochet is better for, and there's some crafts that knitting is better for. I generally find that structured cloth, so hats, socks, sweaters, are easier for knitting, and things that need, like, rigid structure, like amigurumi, or where structure doesn't matter very much, like lace shawls, crochet is perfectly great for. It has never occurred to me to use a stitch marker to protect that loop, and that is the most brilliant idea I've ever heard. I need to remember that. I have to pre-plan both. Like, if I'm making a garment and I want it to fit, I have to pre-plan either. If I'm making, if I'm making an amigurumi, generally I want to follow a pattern, but also I can just sort of pull it out of my butt because, you know, because I can. Just because, like, that's kind of how it is. I started knitting my amigurumi, and I absolutely need a pattern for those, and also I really like the way they come out more, no matter how tight my crochet is, and it's very tight, like tighter than it should be probably, it still has holes in it. Like it just does. So I don't know where I put my finished crochet dudes. They're somewhere. I rearranged my desk and then they ended up somewhere. Yeah, like, they don't have huge holes. You can see my, like, the little dragon and the little death person in the pictures. And it's not like giant gaping holes, but, like, there's still holes just by nature of being crochet. I don't know where in the lineup they are, honestly. There's, like, lots of pictures of my spinning and then my knitting after the spinning. And obviously, like, you know, that's a lace shawl. It's full of holes. And beads. That shawl is also full of beads. That's my first sweater. Yeah, see, like, so, like, that dude and the dragon, like, you can just see things through their bodies. It is like a stiff fabric, but it's like, it's almost like a stiff fabric that's made out of, like, Aida cloth, you know, with just, there's just holes. And generally, that's always been kind of like my problem with crochet, is that it has holes. But again, if I'm gonna like, do you understand or overloop? I don't understand the question. I mean, I don't think it's coming out wrong. It's coming out the way it's supposed to. Crochet just has holes. Like, by design, crochet fabric has holes in it. And knitting fabric mostly doesn't, but I just got a new phone and it just sucked all the settings out of my old phone, like, because Apple. And, well, sort of, like, even with single crochets, which is what the amigurumi I made were mostly made of, there's just gaps. They're like small gaps, but they're still there. Yeah, the fiber might be the thing, but like I was making kits, right? So they came with the kit, but now I want to like show you what the little dude looks like. Hang on. Now it is a matter of principle, and also trying to figure out where I put him. Because, like, where could I have put Tiny Crochet Death in a way that, like, did not lose him? Tiny Death, where did you go? Tiny Death is, like, somewhere, but not anywhere apparently where we're going to ever find it ever again. Oh well, I was like, I need to show you Tiny Death, but Tiny Death is gone. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I put it. Okay, I will show you later, because this is Slightly Crazy Pants. Slightly Crazy Pants. Yeah. I'm gonna go insane, I swear, because this is not the first thing that I put somewhere. I rearranged my desk and I put it somewhere. And I don't know where somewhere is. Like, it is not on my desk anymore, but I don't know where not on my desk it is. Oh well. I'll find it eventually. Like, it couldn't have gone very far. It's somewhere in this room, just not entirely sure where in this room. There's only so much driving me crazy that I will tolerate, and then I will like tear the room apart and find the stuff. But yeah, the other like main crochet problem that I've been having is, let's say I want to make a square that is 20 stitches wide and, I don't know, 20 rows tall. maybe that will be a square, maybe it won't. I don't actually know. Depends on stuff. But I will make a chain of 20. And then I will like turn and I will make a stitch into every chain, and I will have a row of 20. And then I will turn, and then I will try to make a stitch into every stitch, and then I will have a row of 23. And then I will turn and do the same thing again, and then I will have a row of 18. Or something. Actually, honestly, I'll have a row of 18, and then the next row will be like 16, and the next row will be 15. The next row, maybe I'll like count extra hard, and it'll be 15 again, and then it'll be 13, and then I will have a parallelogram or a trapezoid, and not a square that I was aiming for, because with all the stitches not being on my needle, I have to find them again 20 times, each and every one. And I don't find them very well. So keeping like a consistent stitch count row to row is basically not a thing I've ever really managed to do. Like, I did the knit sweater and it worked really well because it was first of all, it was a t-shirt shape, but also it was a granny square sweater. So granny squares are real easy because you are counting clusters, not stitches, right? So, and you are putting each next row's cluster into like the gap between clusters. So it's very, very much easier. So I started the project on the flight to Glasgow. And I worked on it all through Glasgow and London. And I finished it like the day after we got back or something. Like I finished it real fast. And I've even worn it once. And it's all made out of my hand spun and a weird ass gradient. So it sort of looks like it's got purple top and then starts being blue at the boob line. But like, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. And again, like, you'll see a picture of it in the whatchamacallit thing. Thank you, RaidPal. In the slideshow. Because, well, it'll be in the slideshow. No, that's the shawl that I finished in time to wear to the theater in the West End. There it is. There's the granny square sweater. Briefly. And so you can see 3 of my 4 crochet projects. The first one, I found a pattern for this like little crocheted dumpster fire. And I made one for my friend Enchanter. And it's like a little lime green dumpster fire with fire poking out of the little lime dumpster. I'm not sure I don't think I actually took any pictures of it. But it was like, I don't know, end of 2020, early 2021 or something. And like, it was like, I know enough crochet stitches to do this. And that was the first crocheted thing I ever made. Because before this, what I've done with crochet was like, okay, I know enough to make an edging on my knitting. Or I know enough to do a crocheted chain to like start my knitting with and stuff. Which is very different. Like not actually the same thing at all. So but yeah, like I knew the stitches, and my grandma technically taught me how to crochet when I was little, because she was a knitter my whole life, and she crocheted as well, and then started crocheting a lot more as her arthritis picked up. because crocheting is easier on her hands. So now, these days, she only crochets. Also, she's 92, so she gets to do whatever the heck she wants. Because she is of an age where you get to do whatever you want. I was visiting my parents. My grandma lives with my parents at some point, maybe 2 years ago. And my grandma was having ice cream. And, like, I don't think she had any dinner. My mother was like, well, you know, you're that's a lot of sugar you're eating, and you haven't had dinner. And I'm like, she's 90 years old. What do you think is gonna happen? She's gonna, like, develop diabetes, so she will develop diabetes, right? Like, she has earned ice cream for dinner. Why are you giving her crap, Mom? And my mom was like, you have a valid point. I think she just was in the habit of, like, making sure everybody was eating, like, reasonably nutritious food. And I had to tell you, like, growing up, neither of my two grandmothers lived with us. And then when we moved to the U.S., one grandma lived with us and then moved out on her own as soon as she could. Then the other grandma came and lived with us while my brother was super little, and up through, I think, when he was like, I don't know, 7 or 8. And that's how long it took her to, like, she put her name down on the waiting list for, like, a Section 8 apartment. And that's how long it took her to get one. And then so she moved out. And then my parents moved from Connecticut to Jerusalem. And Grandma went back to living with them. And so she's been living with them for, like, past 7 years. And my mom, like, so this is my mom's mother-in-law. And, like, they get along pretty darn well. Like, sometimes they roll their eyes at each other, but, you know, they get along pretty well for being daughter-in-law, mother-in-law. And, like, my mom, so, you know, everybody speaks Russian, right? And in Russia, you use your name and your patronymic. So instead of saying, like, for your teacher, you know, Mrs. Smith, you would say their first name with the patronymic, because that's how you talk to adults that you are being polite to. To the point where, like, when I talk to my parents' friends, it is still super weird to just say their first name in Russian. Like, if I'm talking to them in English, which I sometimes do, it's perfectly fine, because, like, that's not weird. But anyway, so, like, my mom has called my grandma by her name and patronymic the entire time my parents have been married. And my parents just celebrated their, hang on, I can do math, 47th wedding anniversary this September. So for the past 47 years, my mother has been calling my grandma by her name and patronymic, because that's the way you refer to an adult you find that you respect. Like, it's, I don't know, like, French does this too, and German, right? Like, it has a you and a fancy polite you. So it's like that, right? She uses the fancy polite you for grandma. And I just always kind of find that both cool and slightly weird. You know? Just, like, because. But yeah. Anyway. We've gotten a bunch of this done, right? Like, when we started, there were gaps in the, like, I could see the core of the bobbin through the fiber. Not so much anymore. So, yay progress. Oh. I am a fan of the progress. And when we take our break at the top of the hour, I will move the spinning wheel so that we can do some blending, but I'll also take a look for Tiny Death and Cute White Dragon so that I can maybe find them without trying to not like run away from the camera too badly. I'll have 3 minutes, so it will hopefully work. Again, the stuff that we're going to be blending is Polwarth, Yak, and Silk. And we're going to be blending in some extra silk into it. So I'm pretty excited about that. Also, I just realized that today is 12/12. It's not like I didn't know the date, but cute little alliterative dates are cute and little, so that is always, always good. No, I keep thinking that I should be like doing a short draw and keeping my hands entirely in the screenshot, but like fiber comes out better if I do a long draw, honestly, because then I'm not pulling, I'm just kind of letting the fiber come out with whatever it grabbed, if that makes sense. Well, I'll give it a little bit of direction, but well, screw you too. Okay, where did we lose it? We lost it all the way on the edge here. There it is. Come on. You got enough twist that you should not be coming out like that. But it is what it is. No, do not come apart. Don't you dare come apart. Don't you dare. No daring, yarn. There is no daring in yarn baseball. Also no crying, but that's, you know, less of a current problem. No daring. Stop daring. There we go. I don't know what that was all about, other than, you know, yarn being uppity. See back to previous conversation where I really just want my craft supplies to do what I tell them to, and instead they do what they want. Yarn does what it wants, fiber does what it wants, thread does what it wants. Everything's just doing whatever they want. And I don't know entirely how I feel about that. Okay. There we go. think we are achieving a consistent thickness, mostly. Mostly. Keeping an eye on time. But also, like, I want to make sure that we do our ad where there's no pre-rolls. So. Because I also don't want, like, I turned off my ads so that there wouldn't be any ads during the raid time. So I can, like, control that a little bit more. And once the raid comes in, I'm going to turn off raids, so there's also that. And otherwise, it'll be all good. I am looking forward to doing some blending on stream because I, like for the green blending, I recorded it, but I didn't stream it. So I kind of want to try to do it. It's a little bit unwieldy, but I can do it on the desk. I did it to record it. I did it on the desk, so it will just be unwieldy on screen, so it will be great. But I find that blending is a lot of fun, and I really like spinning off of Rologs. Like, as much as this is fine, spinning out of Rologs is a little bit, like, neater and easier, and kind of a little bit portable. The first time I did it, I had this yarn that was mostly, like, it was rainbow yarn, right? But no good way to clean spin it without getting mud. So I blended the fibers in, like, a nice even split for the colors in the correct order. That was the other thing, is they were not quite in the correct order in the roving. So we blended that and created Rologs where, like, each Rolog was the correct sequence of colors. So but I don't think I have any pictures of that one. I did just turn it very recently into a scarf, so, and gave it away to a friend. But that was my first foray into Rologs, and then this green was my second foray into Rologs. And so I think the burgundy is going to be, obviously, therefore, the third foray. Alright. Did we lose our music? We might have lost our music. Or is it just super quiet? Music? Where are you? Playback paused because your account is used in another location. What account is used in what other location? I do not have any kind of other location. Nope. Goodness gracious. Okay. Chill hump. Chill. And hump. Like, really? Really? Stop that. I do love Chill Hop. I love their, like, winter mixes and stuff. More so than their other mixes. But I don't know what other location it thinks my YouTube is being used on. I don't think anybody logs in as me to YouTube anywhere. But I guess we'll see. Got about 6 minutes of no pre-rolls left, and then we'll do another 3-minute ad break in which we will change projects again, because of course we will, and that way we'll be doing some blending when folks raid in, which should be good, but also allow me to talk about my projects, which I did make that slideshow off, so that should be pretty cool too. There we go. I do hope that the rest of this purple and blue comes in not too late. It was really weird. Like, I ordered it on the 6th. Last time I ordered from this company, it arrived like super quickly. This time I ordered on the 6th, and like on the 9th, I got a message that said, you know, we made a label and submitted it to USPS. And the informed delivery says that, like, we received your package and it's awaiting acceptance. And I just don't know what that means. Like, what does that even mean? Awaiting acceptance. Do you sometimes reject packages that are brought to you to deliver USPS? Like, I understand that the Canadian Postal Service is striking, but, like, we're not, so what's up with that? Also, I hope the Canadian Post Office, like the postal workers, get what they are trying to get, and the strike ends soon. Like, I know that they should get paid more, and they want to get paid more, and go them. I'm all for them striking, but I also, like, I'm sad for my friends who can't get mail or send mail. At least we're, like, in an age where you don't rely on the post to, like, get your bills as much anymore. But some people still do, I'm sure, even in Canada. So, like, I'm pretty sure that they need their post to work. Someday it will, but not quite yet. Oh, my wrist is going off, which means that it is time to take that break. Alright, so let me anchor this in so that we don't lose what we're doing. Nope, the other way, this way. Turn that off. Alright, let's get this wound up on the... There we go. Okay. Alright, folks, we'll be right back. Hello. Oh, good. I see Tom Nook came up when you resubbed. Did he make a noise? I was not here to hear it, so you don't know. Okay, that's fine. Puka, if you're around, like, I found my dudes that I made. They were on the windowsill, but like, here, I will show you. So like, this obviously has holes because it's like double, but this is single crochet and it still has holes. See, still has holes. And this guy is like all entirely single crochet. Oop, nope, this way. And you see, like, he still has holes, right? And this is like wicked tight crochet, and it still has holes. Yeah, yours also has holes, RGB. Like, and yours is much looser crochet, and it has holes. Like, I see holes. Anyway. Oh, I need to put this needle threader into its box, or I will literally never again find it. It will get knocked off, and I will never find it again. Yeah, but like, I hook the yarn like they say in the video in the picture. Anyway, so this is a blending board. It is very sharp. And these are my blending brushes. They're also very sharp. This is the fiber, and this is the other fiber. So we're gonna blend this into this, basically. So this guy is 60% Polworth, 20% silk, and 20% yak. And I had it also in green. And as you can see, this silk had like it still has a little bit of green. So I blended it in and made rologs and spun it, and that's what this guy is. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so this is what that grew up to be. Hello, Absurd Nerd. Welcome, welcome. We're going to be blending yarn. So I want more silk in this fiber than comes with it, so we're going to be, hence why we're blending it in. Okay, sounds good. We are going to do some of this blending, and then in a half an hour, the raid train is going to appear. And then we're going to like talk a little bit more about what I do. And people will, and the raid train will, you know, raid. This is like slightly felted, which is also a thing. But, come on. Floof up and tear. There we go. So it's got white spots in it, like inside, because that's a thing that happens when you dye roving. But we're just gonna get some of it on this board. And so the purpose of the blending board really is that you like lay down your fiber kind of the way you're gonna want it to spin up, and then you roll it onto these sticks I have over here, and you end up with rologs, which are these like tubes that you then spin off of. So it's a way to, you know, blend multiple fibers, right? So if you have like something that's like this, which is a Polworth, a silk, and a yak, like they did that on a blending board or a carder or a drum carder, which is probably what you do if you're doing it like for sale, because it's a bigger, faster way to do this. This is sort of a more artsy-fartsy way to do it, and also you don't have to invest hundreds of dollars into a into a drum carder? No, because I am not pressing hard, like laying my hand on top of it. If I like pressed with pounds of pressure, I would puncture my hand, yes. But not, you know. It's sort of like, you know, imagine if your hairbrush didn't have like those little balls on the end and you just like tapped the top of your hairbrush, right? Like that doesn't hurt because you're applying nearly no pressure. But like, yes, I absolutely could super injure myself if I tried. But I'm pretty sure I'd have to either try or like have a tragic accident where I am falling and I catch myself, oh shush, on, you know, like if I fall and catch myself on this thing and therefore like the pressure of all my weight ends up on it. I don't even know what you're being 12 about. I'm not sure I want to know what you're being 12 about. But yeah, like, you know, if I apply 185 pounds of pressure to this with my hand. No, I don't. I don't remember what I said. You do not need to share it with the internet. But I don't remember what I said that made you think like a 12-year-old. You can tell me later. I have a minimum 15-second delay between things coming out my mouth and you hearing them. So, like, anytime you say something, I have to vaguely remember what it was that I said 15 seconds ago. And it is ADHD o'clock. So, okay, so basically we've laid down some fiber. We're gonna use a brush. So the brush pushes it down. The brush is also very sharp. So no pressure on the brush or it will hurt. Why is there fiber in my mouth again? Also, don't answer that. Alright, so like this bit is leftover green. I do not want it. But I want the bits that are, you know, purple. Because we are blending purple into this burgundy because we are. And the purple, of course, has the same thing as the burgundy did, where it's got like some white on the inside. And that's also gonna blend in and that'll be fine. But and it'll come out in the spinning. Like, so the green also had the white on the inside, but as you saw, there's not a lot of white in the finished product because it just kind of gets absorbed. It is a personal problem. I think it's a personal problem of like little fibers are flying everywhere and I am talking, which involves opening my mouth. And then there's fiber in my mouth. It's also one of the reasons I don't knit with a lot of mohair. Not because I end up with fiber in my mouth, but because I end up with fiber in my lungs. And that's, in fact, bad, especially if you're me and somewhat allergic to some things. Like, I'm not allergic to, like, mohair. I'm allergic to Angora, but that's because it's a bunny, and I am allergic to bunnies. Okay, fiber. I understand that you're a long staple, but come apart. Yeah, I made it for the raid train of like just some recent craft things that I've done. Not like a lot of things, but just some recent stuff. I tried to get I even got some of the resin dice on there. But I tried to get like weaving and spinning and some knitting and my 3 most recent crochet projects of the 4 I've ever done. because I don't think I couldn't find any pictures of the dumpster fire that I made for Enchanter. Ugh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you end up with these like layers. So if you ever see fiber sold in a bat instead of in roving, this is a bat, like we're making a little square bat, because it is like for the purpose of, so like a, you know, you when you get the fiber off a sheep, right, you've cut it off the sheep. First of all, it's super dirty because it's got in it everything that the sheep has encountered. So sticks and dirt and mud and all the things that come out of the rear end of a sheep. Like a, no, B-A-T-T, two T's. So yeah, so there's all that nonsense that came out the back end of a sheep and the sheep rolled in. So you wash your fleece that you've cut off your sheep, and then you are like faced with this giant matted mess. So what you do is card it, and you can use hand carders, which are basically two flat things that look like this but are smaller, or a drum carder. And that makes all the fibers like lie in one direction. So you can see that's one of the things that's happening here, is all the fibers are kind of aligning in one direction, and that's what carding does. But also, like, you can then paint it, or you can blend it so that you can have like, right, because you don't, if you have a merino silk blend, it did not come off a sheep like that. You got some silk off of some spiders, and you got some merino off a sheep, and now you have to combine the two. And so this is kind of how you do it. Or if you've got some fiber that's got like a variegated color in it, you do it this way, and then you spin it into a variegated fiber. And you know, there are more mechanical ways to do this, in that you can use a drum carder, which is basically it's like a cylinder with pokey bits on it, and you just, you know, it's either electric or a hand crank. No, the sheep does not just grow the silk. Just like the sheep does not just grow red yarn. Because it's not a color found naturally on a sheep. But yeah, so a drum carder is basically like just a turning cylinder of pokey bits. It's either turning electrically or you have a hand crank. And then you just sort of feed the fiber in, and it aligns itself on the thing. Well, hopefully wife got a you that was needed. Welcome back. I'm explaining that if you have merino and silk blend, you have to blend them, because the sheep does not just grow spider silk out of its sheepy bits. Although there have been some weird things done with genetic engineering and goats and like spider glands or something that make the goats produce spider silk. I don't know the details. I probably should read up more on it, but I have not read up on it recently. Yeah, so correct. So you got to get your silk from your spiders, well, your silkworms really, and your wool from the sheep. But like, this is the way you card it, and this is the way you kind of arrange it, and this is also the way you blend it. And the carding brushes are basically, they're like this, but like a little bit wider, and you usually just like, you know, do that with them. That was a clearly useful motion. That was useful in some way. But yeah, so we're gonna get some of the white mixed in, but we're also gonna get some of this purple mixed in. And it's a long staple, so it's hard to pull. But yeah. And I think you can sort of see like both the white and the purple coming in here into layers, and we will. Yeah, so if you're doing like a big one of these, you can pull the whole thing off and it'll be a bat. And some people just spin off a bat, and I can't even. I need roving. And roving is basically just strips of the bat. But what we're going to be doing is called a roll-log, which is really just like a rolled on tube. I'm going to add this silk and brush it in, and then we're going to make the roll-log, because I think this is basically, you kind of do it until you think it's thick enough, and then you pull it off by rolling it. So I think like we're gonna call it thick enough for our purposes. Yeah, well, I do have slightly sleepy music, also known as chill and calm. And I can see how it can put people to sleep. Because portable. Okay, so we're going to attempt to pull this off. I'm going to make the mouse out of the way. You are 12, so sticks. We are going to do stuff to it with sticks. Basically, you just pull it up and roll it, but you like pull on it to thin it a little bit and like to kind of line it up a little bit more, and roll up some of it. You don't roll up all of it because that would be too much. So we're gonna, there we go, we're gonna pull that off. So this is gonna be, I mean, I brushed it down, but you remember this is both of these are roving already, right? It's not a fleece, so it does not need to be carded. You pull both sticks out, and then you have this like limp noodle. I know, you're 12 RGB, I get it. This is a roll-log. So this is a roll-log, and you would spin off of it, right, like off the end. So if you had like what I had done with my rainbow, right, if you had like a stripe of red, orange, yellow, green, you would then pull off your red first, and then your yellow, and then your orange, and then your yellow, and then your green. And that's a way to arrange things in the kind of order that you want. Oh my God. Fibers are being up my nose, and that is not what we want. So one of these brushes has like little, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, so these are like tilted. They're not like straight. So that's for this purpose. Also, all of these came, so I got a kit basically that had this thing, these guys, and 2 brushes. And the thing about this board too that is really cool is that you can twist this thing, and this bit lines this way. Literally, so you can sit and put it in between your knees. Yeah, I know. So you can put it between your knees, like on your lap. But this way it's got like a little stand going. Okay, let's see. So, and you have to kind of like press the stick together so that they, you know, grasp the fiber. And when I said this was unwieldy on camera, right, it's because of this, right? Like it's, fuzz. It's because you have to pull and, like it takes up a bunch of space. But it's mostly not bad. But I don't know if you can see, I'll pull it up closer to the camera, but you can see like little strips of basically the white and the purple. So let me see if I can bring this up a little bit more and focus on it. So you can see like little strips, right? And that's, you know, that's happening on there. And if you are not me and you didn't do this like too tight, you'd be able to just pull your sticks out. I have to use physics to pull the sticks out and apply like pressure on one while pulling the other. And here's our limp noodle again. And for log number 2. And like the goal is not to pull too much out with the hooky brush, but it can happen. Okay. Okay, also, you can anchor it with your boobs, which is literally what I'm doing. Because, why not? Well, I guess maybe, probably more my sternum than my boobs, but that's okay. All right. I think I'm going to finish all of this with this Rolog. Yeah. That's true. That is true. Boobs are not actually very good for bracing, even when they are, you know, braced. And if this part is difficult, that happens because you put too much. Like your Rolog is too fat. My Rolog is too fat. That's like, it's okay, but it makes it harder to pull off. There's just too much fiber. Yep. Oh my god. Come on, there we go. Exactly. And see, it's like a little bit less limp because it's getting fiber on it. This is why when I split the final thing in half, it's going to be by weight, not by a number of Rologs, because the number of Rologs is sort of dependent on how much I put on there. Okay, let's just tear off a nice big chunk and put the rest in my spinning wheel's lid, because that's, yeah, it's just like it's just got more stuff in it, right? So that's why it's That's why it's firmer. But, all right, let's get another ground cover of the wool here. Like I said, this already has silk in it. It is 20% silk, 20% yak, and 60% Polworth, but I want more silk in it. And hence why we're having the blender. Yeah, right? So I have a scale that I use for this, and it's like a terrible little Weight Watcher scale, which I don't use to, you know, measure anything to do with weight other than my fiber. But it's a good way to split my various fibers into half, right? So like if I get a braid of something to spin and I want to make 2 singles out of it so that I can ply them, I'm going to want to split it by weight first so that I kind of know when to stop putting it on, you know, putting it on the first bobbin and when to start putting it on the other bobbin. So. Down, so it's like underneath on the bottom layer. And then let's add more purple friends to it. Yeah, I got this silk because it was like the green matched perfectly, and I decided that even though there is no like burgundy in there, the purple will just go with the burgundy, which, you know, I think it kind of does, but I suppose we'll see when we spin it up. The silk adds almost like a pearlescence to it. Like it's not actually like glitter or real pearliness or anything, but I think because it's got like the shiny white, it looks like it's adding a little bit of a pearlescence, which is kind of nice. Like I like the way it looks so far. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, like 0 idea. It's going to depend on how much of it I end up with, because these guys are so like there's 4 ounces of burgundy, right, plus a ½ ounce of silk in each of the spins, right? So it should be maybe 500 yards, maybe. Unsure, but something like it. Like 4 ounces generally gets me about 400 yards. So fudge cakes. Why did we unroll, Rolag? Because the spiky brush caught us. But there you go. And there's also like a little bit of green in there because, you know, because. But we should be getting rated soon by eLoveArt, who I know in person. He's a lovely human. They have done some of the art, so like they did the art for when we streamed Vampire. They did Bitey, the Bitey book. So they are an artist and an illustrator, and they are right before me on this here raid train. So they will be raiding here at some point imminently. And then we will then we will chat about what I do on my streams, which is no longer build Sims so much, and no longer play Don't Starve Together anymore. Although that was fun and I miss it. I'm mostly trying to do crafty streams now because I find this also fun. Yeah, we gotta do it. We gotta move it to some other day, so. Oh good, we've got upcoming three slots being announced, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, group crafts would be fun too, I know. We gotta do it. Oh. Oh my god. There is Raid. There's Tom Nook. Hi, Elove Art. How are you? Welcome, welcome, Raiders. That was a huge number of people following, so I totally had that scroll off my screen. Pick Stitch and Kitty Dot and Dude Emo and Kate Crochet and Clansage and many other people. I do. Well, I'm making Rologs right now to spin. Yeah. I'm gonna finish this layer and then we'll talk about all the things I do. I do all the things I can possibly get away with doing with string, including making the string. How are you? How was your stream? I missed it because I was streaming. But thank you all the followers who are too many to name, unfortunately. Okay. I need to brush this in or I'm going to be breathing in fiber and then I'm going to have asthma and nobody wants that on the stream. So, but before I forget, because it is ADHD o'clock, I have a button that stops other raids so that doesn't do bad things. Yeah, bad genre, let's not do that. And yeah, it is Adderall wore off o'clock. But yeah, so I made a little slideshow thing which you can see below me of like my recent projects. But yeah, I spin. I have been I actually this is what I finished yesterday. It's still on the bobbin, but this together with this is gonna be a sweater when it grows up. But this project is actually like a lot of fun because I picked up a green and like a burgundy, and then I picked this like fluffy silk stuff, and I blended the green part of the silk into the green, and I'm blending the purpley part of the silk into the burgundy so that I'm making these little Rologs. It's a Polworth yak and silk already, so it's just getting more more silk into it. And so like the green this is what the green ended up looking like with the silk in it. And I don't know how much of it is in there. It's like 4.5 ounces, so probably 450 to 500 yards. But yeah, so we'll see what that grows up into being. Oh yeah, there's a picture of the burgundy and the green. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool when it's done, and then I will spin it up. But I've been doing a bunch of spinning lately on stream. I've done a little bit of weaving on stream because I managed to stick my rigid heddle loom like under the camera, and was doing it with two two heddles and made that scarf so that I can do a twill on a rigid heddle. The floor loom cannot be brought upstairs to here, so I'm going to try to record the floor loom in a little bit, but maybe a couple of days. But we'll see. I'm mostly a knitter. I've now done four crochet projects. So again, thank you for following, folks. You are too numerous to mention, but yay. Yeah, I'm thinking of like recording it, like maybe for YouTube, but I also can, if I manage to set up the camera down there, I could try to stream it from my laptop, but it's in the middle of my living room where my housemate works. So it's a little weird. So I'm still learning crochet. It's a new skill for me. Again, like I said, I'm much more of a knitter, but I sort of do all the crafts. Earlier today we were doing some cross stitch. Amongst the pictures there's some resin dice, which came out okay. Like, I am not streaming tomorrow just because I only have like one slot in the raid train, and I don't want to, like, I don't want to be really streaming during other people's slots as much as I can, because I'm trying to also kind of help. But I'm almost certainly going to stream again on Sunday. My schedule is sort of shrug. It's not supposed to be shrug, but it ends up being shrug. But yeah, just kind of whenever I can get to it. So yeah. Let's see. I forget what I was talking about. Oh yeah, I do tablet weaving too. I can do that on stream too, but there's the dice. They came out okay. A little bubbly. I don't have like the pressure machine that takes the bubbles away, and I don't have like the vibrating table. So I think the next time I do the dice, I'm gonna end up putting them down to level like on top of my washing machine on a spin cycle, because that will shake things a little bit, and then that should shake some of the bubbles out. But yeah, so like I said, I kind of try to do all sorts of crafts, which is somewhat new on stream. I used to stream a lot more games. I started streaming with Raging Gale Bear there. We were both playing Animal Crossing in 2020, like most people, and decided we wanted to stream it, and said, where do we stream things? Oh, I guess Twitch. So that's kind of how we started, and then I started trying to stream more than that. But yeah, This New Island was our stream thing. Now This New Island is the account that I use to see how my stream looks like on my phone. So you know, it's still an active account. It watches things. But yeah, so this is kind of where we ended up. Nice. I have 2 islands, but yes. Thank you. Welcome, Crafty Cub. Yeah, this is we're blending this Polworth yak and merino and silk, Polworth yak and silk with some more silk, because I heard that you like silk in your fibers, so I got some silk in your silk with some more silk. Yak is pretty nice. It's pretty soft. Not as soft as camel. Basically nothing is as soft as camel, but you know. Yeah, I realized that I could start a new island on my housemate's Switch. So I did a whole new island for a while, and I have an island of nothing but goats. And I've been like building this giant castle on it. But I got to the part where I needed to rearrange where my rocks are, where like my money rocks are. And I got, like, I did not do a very good job of it. Like, I did not put my mannequins accurately enough. And so my rocks kept cropping up in random places. And then I got frustrated with it and kind of gave up. I should go back to that island. I've been doing like a billion other similar-ish games. You know, obviously Stardew, but like also Fields of Mystria and all of that kind of stuff. Yes, well, every half hour there's a new train stop. Welcome, welcome. You know, in like 20 minutes we're going to be going to Einar, who paints miniatures, I believe. Does lots of things. We got to chatting yesterday and discovered that he is another SCA person and does all the medieval-y things. So yeah. Sometimes you just kind of get absorbed in stuff you're doing, right? Yes, well, hey, Nook welcomes everybody to this channel. Yeah, this, so we mostly do fiber in this channel, right? Like, this is the first time I'm doing blending on stream, just because, as I was saying earlier, it gets a little bit unwieldy, and, like, not super comfortable to do on my desk, but it works. Also, when I'm talking, I can't lay fiber in a straight line. But that's okay. Like RGB said, we are not straight here, so why would our fiber be? But I do a lot of spinning on stream, and I've been doing a bunch of like spinning and reading the Iliad, because the spinning, like, I don't have to look at very much. So, or did I, like, am I just dropping my fiber on the ground, or am I using it up and not noticing that I'm using it up? I think the latter. But yeah, like, I went looking for a book that was out of copyright, and the Iliad is what happened. And I realized, well, I remember reading the Odyssey, and I don't remember reading the Iliad, although I'm pretty sure we did in school. So I started reading it, and let me tell you, it is just a series of unpronounceable names killing each other. But it's classic, so we were reading it, and I will probably go back to it pretty soon. I put it aside because I started spinning some more persnickety stuff I had to pay attention to more. But otherwise, it's sort of like jazzy music, spinning wheel, interesting story. Does for a nice stream, but it's definitely calm and cozy. I've also done, like, so the 3 latest of the 4 total crochet bits that I've ever done, I did on stream, because what's better than learning an entire new skill set than doing it in front of an audience, right? Yeah. Wait, what did autocorrect do? Yeah, that's true. We gotta do that. Then you can do the reading and I can do the fibering. I do like the fiber snails. The Rologs are awesome. You just can't rely on their count. You gotta weigh them to split in half for spinning. And I tend to ply my singles into a 2-ply rather than chain plying. Like, I will chain ply if I have to, but I prefer to not. So then have to split the Rologs by weight. Okay, come on, brush in. I think we found the weight center of the fiber. All right. on, more purple bits. And both the wool and the silk are like a pretty long staple. So, which just means each fiber is long that way. So, okay, so if you think about how like your regular ply is done, you spin things and you put a twist on it in a direction, and then you take two of them and you spin them in the other direction together, and that's plying. And you can also do that with like 3 or 4, and you end up with like 4 ply. If you have one long single and you want to have it not... Ooh, thank you. Thank you for the bits. If you want to like not have it like all come apart, you do something called a chain ply. It used to be called a Navajo ply, and it's not called that anymore for obvious reasons. But it is used by the Navajo. It's just also used by other people, and they say they don't claim it. They don't claim it. But you basically are making like a giant crochet chain with your hands. You make a loop, and you pull some of your single through it, and you make a next loop, etc., while your wheel is spinning. So you end up with a 3-ply that way. I have a watch, and this is like a little measury thing that's not actually a watch. It just looks like one. Yeah, it's like making a finger crocheted chain, but it is spinning at the same time, right? So you're gonna end up with a 3-ply. It's a thing that I do when, for example, if I have a single that's a really cool gradient, or like that rainbow colors that I've done. It's hard to match up the singles so that you don't end up with like mud, right? So if I have something that's going to be hard to match up the singles so that your like red goes with your red, then you can do it out of one, and you don't end up like matching your red with a green, because if you do that, you just end up with brown. Right? Like if you're kind of off a little bit, and everybody is off a little bit, right? Like no matter how good you are at spinning, you could be plying you could take 2 identically weighing pieces of fiber and spin them into singles and start plying and be done with one bobbin and have like a bunch of the other bobbins still left. It just happens. It happens all the time to everybody, no matter what. So if you do chain ply, you don't have that. So you would spin all of your fiber into one bobbin, and then you would just chain ply it onto another bobbin. So that's how that works. Let's make little snails. So you clamp your fiber in between your sticks. You drop your sticks, if you're me, at least once, probably more than once, before you manage to actually anchor it on. Come on. It's because people are watching. You know it's because people are watching. And then you roll it on. Like you pull it, and you roll it. And that's why it's called a roll-log, because it's rolled on. But yeah, it's like, and you don't want too much fiber on there, but you thin it out and kind of like brush it out and roll it on. And then we are going to spin the roll-logs later. And you just pull it off the sticks. And like I was saying earlier, then you get this like limp noodle and you roll up your limp noodle. And you have a little snail of a limp noodle. There we go. I appreciate that. I think that's why I was able to actually get it anchored onto the sticks. Because somebody was like, I am not looking. Come on. Do not be mean to me, Fiber. Fiber is like, no, I will be as mean as I want. The motto of today, oh my god, okay, we have to restart that one. The motto of today has been, my craft supplies are not nice to me, and everything would be so much easier and better if craft supplies just did what I told them to, instead of whatever it is that they want to be doing. Why are we just like not... We just do not want to be going in the middle. In the middle, we want to be a mess. And we just got to the part where it's extra unwieldy, because it's time to hold it with my sternum. Oh, thank you, Raid Pal. Raid Pal is telling us that we're going to Einar next, in 9 minutes. There we go. Pull it off. Like, this would be, of course, a lot easier with a drum carter and all that, but because I'm not really carting these, the tabletop kind of method works well enough. Also, this is sharp. And the brushes are sharp. I have accidentally leaned on the brushes before, and they are not a good thing to lean on. Oh my god. Come on. Roll up. And we do want to thin it all out, right? Like, because the end result, we're going to be spinning right off of the roll log, so we need it to be pretty ready to spin. It's sort of like slightly pre-drafted, which is nice. This is going to be one extra fat end time roll log, because I did not think this through. I should have ended it a little bit earlier, but then there was not quite enough left on there, so we will do the best we can with what we got. Here we go. He's just gonna be an extra thick roll log, which means it's gonna be extra hard to pull off the sticks because there's just so much of it. Oh. See, trying to pull it off the sticks is not always a good time, but because if you get too much on there, right, it gets a little too tight, and then it's just like, I like being here. We are never leaving. We are never leaving, and we live here now. Also, the noodle is not that limp when you put too much fiber on. Anyway, I'm gonna move this now because I'm gonna need to get to my keyboard, and it is, shall we say, a little in the way, like everything else over here. Because this desk is, you know, the size that it is, which is great for being a desk, but not if what you have is like 12 hobbies on it. And we always have 12 hobbies on here. Because if it's to do with fiber and string, basically I do it, and that means that there's stuff. But yeah. Anyway, we are going to be, in a few minutes, going to visit Einar, who I believe is currently streaming. He is. Good. So he will be doing that. He's painting models. I was talking to him yesterday. He does stuff with like custom paints that he blends and stuff, which is always pretty darn cool. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody who is visiting with the raid train. This has been a really cool experience, because the raid train has been a lot of fun, and I know that I have gotten a chance to visit lots of really cool artists and makers riding the train up to the start of my stream, and I'm certainly planning on riding the train for the rest of the weekend. Maybe I'll take a nap in there, but there are like 100 of us, so absolutely everybody come and hang out and visit everybody else in Twitch Creative Club, because the Creative Club is a lot of fun. Thank you for following. Tom Nook welcomes you. It's how you know I started out as an Animal Crossing streamer. There's vestigial Tom Nook alerts. Hello. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us on this fun fiber sort of little adventure across a wide variety of fiber bits. But yeah. And come watch me next time I stream, which I think is going to be Sunday. I'm gonna keep spinning this stuff. I've done needle felting somewhere in this cabinet of I buy a lot of hobby supplies. There are all the supplies for needle felting. Did you know that buying supplies for your hobby is a different hobby from doing your hobby? It is. And I indulge in that hobby too. I went to the New England Fiber Festival a couple of years back and picked up a needle felting kit to make these like little weird gnomes. And yeah, well, yes, I want my hobby to be affording hobby supplies is the thing. But yes, also finishing projects is a different hobby than doing hobby, and which is a separate hobby from buying supplies. So there's at least 3 separate hobbies in there. But anyway, yeah, right? Oh, I appreciate it. But yeah, so I've totally done needle felting. The only like fiber art that I've not done is, okay, so I don't have my own sheep. I don't shear my own sheep. I don't wash my own fleece. I buy it already in fiber, in roving. I've dyed it, I've spun it, I've woven it, I've knit it, and I've now crocheted it, and I've needle felted it. I have not done null binding. That's the one. I have not done null binding. It's called that. I've done tatting. I'm bad at it. I've done bobbin lace. I didn't like it. But I have all the supplies for bobbin lace, of course. I've done kumihimo and narrow work and all that stuff, but not null binding. Someday needs to happen. Yeah, and the thing is, you don't need supplies for bobbin lace. You can do it with like an upside down styrofoam plate and pins, like sewing pins. But I got bobbins and the pillow and all of that. The problem is I don't have like anything to do with the lace, but yeah. All right, it is 10. We gotta go. we gotta go visit Einar. So let me press the button for wherever it is that I put it. Here it is. I have a button for a raid message, so everybody can copy that. And we are going to go and we're gonna raid Einar. Where's my little raid channel button? Here we go. I love my buttons in my stream manager. All right, Einar, here we go. And all right, there we go. So we're gonna go to Einar in a couple of seconds. Everybody copy the message and we will go and invade his stream like you do on a raid train. Bye, everybody.